Hello everyone and welcome to our week 1 battle of the PCL season 2 with this awesome hilarious team. If you have not seen the draft analysis, go watch it. I think my team is very much outside of my usual playstyle, so I'm actually super excited to use it. So I hope you guys actually are going to enjoy some of these battles in a way that are a little bit different than my usual style. If I crash and burn because I'm using Pokemon that aren't necessarily in my comfort zone, well, that's going to happen for the first couple weeks of the season. Please don't get demoralized. We lost the first 2 weeks of the GBA. We lost the first week of the ICBA. So we made playoffs in both of those. I lost the first week of the TBL Season 3, and I made playoffs in that. So it's not the end of the world if we lose the first match of a season. But I think the matchup actually goes in a little bit in my favor, even though his team is absolutely horrifying. First week, we are taking on Pokemaster Mike and the Los Angeles Spark Surfers. He had the #1 best team in the draft, post-draft power rankings, and I don't disagree with that at all. Huron Black, Xurkitree, Araquanid, Klefki, Granbull, Audino, Landorus I with Sheer Force, Rotom Heat, Hoopa Unbound, Hitmontop, and Mega Medicham. It is threats up and down the board. I honestly don't even know where to start with this team. It's absolutely terrifying. But we do have some answers to things. Now, one thing I do know with the Araquanid is that he's probably going to be running Sticky Webs. That is going to be something I expect. If I see the Araquanid, this is my counter lead, this Diggersby. Choice Banded, Adamant, Huge Power, Return, and I did maximize the happiness in this thing, does actually OHKO an Araquanid that isn't physically defensively invested, and if it is, then I'm in there with that return, and I click it, and I'm able to then click Quick Attack the following turn, or return once again, since I should outspeed the Araquanid regardless. I don't want to take a hit from him if he does stay in and go for Liquidation or something. That'd be a problem. This thing handles his entire team pretty much. Since he has no Ghost type, return is 100% free, and pretty much gets a kill every time it comes in with the Choice Band, as long as the webs aren't up. Now, webs don't scare me as much as they otherwise would. I didn't say his Z users are Xurkitree and Granbull, so those are his 2 possible Z users this week. Webs don't scare me as much as they probably should. I decided to go a little bit more with bulk investment than I did with speed investment as a result of the webs this week, but I still am trying to outspeed a couple of things in various situations. So this 123 speed, that you see on the Diggersby, can outspeed a Hitmontop if webs aren't up, as long as Hitmontop isn't jolly. So that is the way I'm going to run it this week. We'll see what happens. If he's not running any speed investment, then this thing still does some work against things like Granbull, still outspeed, stuff like that. So still outspeed the Araquanid after a set of Sticky Webs, which is really nice. Next up, we have our Serperior. Serperior is going to be rocking out with... I thought about Defog on this, since it pretty much freely will get a Defog off, but I decided to go with Leech Seed instead. We are going to be timid with Contrary. This will allow me to outspeed everything on his team. And it'll actually be Leech Seed, Leaf Storm, Hidden Power, and Dragon Pulse. This is Hidden Power Rock for the Rotom. And I actually am noticing right now that there is a slight misgen. I am 168 speed, which actually speed ties with Landorus I if it's max speed timid. I don't expect him to be max speed timid, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. I'm not going to try to fix it, but it is something to note. That is slightly a misgen. That was supposed to be 169. This thing is a level 50 with a hidden power instead of level 100 with a hidden power, which I usually try to run so that they can be max IVs and bottle capped up, and therefore be able to have effective 31s. But we do have the 168, so we will have to watch out for that if he is running max speed Landorus I. If he gets a Rock Polish up, we weren't going to outspeed anyway. If he gets webs up, we get +1 speed, and we basically have a free Scarf, and we outspeed everything anyway, because Landorus I don't expect to be Scarf timid max speed. I just don't. And we'd still outspeed the Mega Medicham even with this particular speed investment. So that's fine. Leaf Storm, first one's probably not going to do too much, but if Rotom Heat's to switch in, we Leaf Storm, we Hidden Power Rock, and we kill a Rotom Heat at +2. And if I don't think that that's necessarily a switch in, if I don't know what it is, then we can just go for a Leech Seed, see what he wants to go into the first time. If he goes into Huron Black, which is definitely an option for him to go into, especially if he's Scarfed and the webs aren't up, then I can click Leech Seed the first time and then switch out on the Kyurem, stuff like that. So we do have options with this Serperior. Hopefully it can put in the work. I am noticing again that it is slightly misgened, but I'm not going to try to fix it since I'm recording this literally minutes before I'm about to battle him, so I'm not going to try to change anything at this point. Next up, we have the Infernape. As you can see, Infernape does have that 169 speed, which outspeeds his entire team that isn't Scarfed, and that is prior to webs, obviously. This thing is going to be my rocker this week. U-turn, Flare Blitz, Mach Punch with Fire EMZ. Hits pretty much everything on his team, stands the Rotom Heat. And I'm not going to worry too much about the Rotom Heat. If he brings that thing in on Infernape, then he is bold as heck, because this thing could be running Rock Slide, it could be running Stone Edge, it could be running, actually it may not get Stone Edge, but it could be running Rock Slide, it could be running Close Combat with Fightinium Z. I did think about that, but I decided I wanted Rocks on his side of the field, since it hits the Kyurem, hits the Arachnid, hits the Rotom Heat, things like that, and him on top really doesn't present a good matchup against my team, so I figured Stealth Rocks were a pretty valuable thing. This is sort of a lead if I don't see Arachnid on his team. This is pretty much a pretty dedicated lead. Even if I do see the Arachnid, this isn't a bad lead, but I think Diggersby is a better lead against Arachnid, which is the primary thing that I'm going to try to take out in one turn. Next up, we have Gardevoir. This is a Mega Gardevoir, of course, because that is what we are running this season. We have Hyper Voice, Wish, Sub, and Calm Mind. Trace prior to Mega Evolving. I believe Mega Evolve is first turn in this league. I'm actually 100% sure that it is. I don't know why I said I believe. I know that it's first turn. And outside the Klefki and the Rotom Heat, this thing can handle pretty much anything that is thrown at it. Get up a sub, start setting up Calm Minds. And if Rotom Heat does come in, the best thing it's probably going to be able to hit me with is an Overheat. I mean, Thunderbolt's probably going to break a sub, but it's not going to do very much damage. And I can sub. If he overheats, then I can sub again. Calm Mind. He doesn't break it after an Overheat drop. He doesn't break my sub with a Volt Switch. Calm Mind starts to go from there, and we can wish around and play around with that. And Hyper Voice is good for things like Kyurem Black, which I naturally outspeed if he isn't... I actually EV'd this to outspeed a modest Kyurem, not a timid Kyurem, but we are going to worry about that. And again, like I said, I'm not running a ton of speed in things, specifically because I'm not bringing Rabombi as a counter Weber this week. I figure since I might have to play him again later in the season, having a completely separate playstyle to play him a second time would be really valuable, and I'm going to announce that right now so that 12 weeks from now, if I play him again, I can remind myself if I'm watching this video that I wanted to do something different a couple of places, things like that. So don't forget that, me. Anyway, next up we have Wish Vaporeon as well, with Heal Bell, Scald, and Toxic. Again, this is sort of bulky. It's more designed to handle the Kyurem outside of Bolt Strike. It doesn't really like handling Circuitry, but it can stop Arachnid in its tracks. And if I do feel like I think I want to go with a U-turn first turn and then go into Vaporeon on the potential Water-type move, that is also an option. And then I can click Toxic on the Arachnid, but then I let Webs get up. So things like that are some interactions I have to deal with. Heal Bell allows me to stop him from burning or paralyzing or toxicking me with various things on his team, since Klefki and Hitmontop and Rotom Heat are all available options, and Granbull and Thunder Wave, things like that. So Heal Bell just generally useful, and big Wish is getting passed with his Vaporeon. Gardevoir's not really to Wish pass, it's really to Wish setup and just use that as a recovery move. Vaporeon is much more for Wish passing, and Water Absorb will really help me just kind of be generally a nuisance to his team. This thing is pretty hard for him to break, and Scald hits a good amount of his team really hard, with the exception of Arachnid, basically, which I can Toxic anyway, so I'm not too worried about it. And lastly, we are bringing our Drapion this week, knock off Toxic Spikes, Whirlwind, and Taunt. And this thing is going to be rocking out with a Jolly Nature and Battle Armor. It's going to be able to outspeed a modest Landorus Eye, as well as a Jolly Medicham. So we are, not a Jolly Medicham, excuse me, a Adamant Medicham. So we are going to be able to rock out with that amount of speed. Toxic Spikes looks really good against his team, and just even one layer of Toxic Spikes really threatens a lot of things. And then Knock Off to get rid of some items and make things just have a generally hard time. Klefki has a very difficult time with this, especially because I could be running Earthquake. And I do have the Taunt as well, and Whirlwind to mess him up a little bit if he's trying to set up a sub or something like that. So that's the team we're rocking this week. I might lose. It's very possible. This is probably not the team that I would go with if I was like later on in the season, but I just yesterday had my battle with Aaron for the semifinals for the ICBA, and I definitely focused on that. So we are going to be working with what we got, and we're going to see what we can do with it. I think it's a good team, honestly. I do think it has the answers to his Pokemon as best they can. And so anyway, I'll see you guys back here with that battle. I haven't decided at this moment if I'm going to be doing separate team builder and battles or not, so I'll be doing intros for both and see how I feel about it. So as it stands, take care, everybody. I will see you with that battle tomorrow, or in a second. You'll see by the length of the video. That's it. I don't think I said a minute ago to go check out his channel, but if you want to, and I encourage you all to do so, go check out any of my opponent's channels. They are all in the description below. Every channel of every coach in the PCL is going to be in the description every week, but my opponent specifically will always be in a special place right at the top so that you guys can check them out really easily. And I encourage you guys, if you watch my content, to go watch their content as well. They're all good guys, and they all are good battlers in their own right, and you should definitely make sure that you find the person who shares your style the most and makes you feel the tingliest on the inside. So anyway, this is the team we're going to be using, and I guess we're jumping back into it at this point instead of the usual point because I've decided that this is how it's going to go because I just started talking, and that's the way that it goes sometimes. So welcome back. It's week 1, and I am so stressed out already. I don't know why. Every battle, every week, every time, and I'm doing so many leagues, and it never gets easier. Every week is super stressful. But what do we see him bring? He brings Klefki, Granbull. He does bring the webs in the Araquanid, no Hitmontop. That's not too surprising. Hitmontop had a very weird matchup against me this week. And he doesn't bring the Rotom Heat, which actually I would have probably brought. And no Mega Medicham either. Instead, he is going to have the Xurkitree, which is a threat in its own right. So I am going to, at this point, the way I see this team going, I'm pretty sure my best lead is going to be the Diggersby. It outspeeds the Granbull. Yes, it can get intimidated, but if he does lead Granbull, then I just go with a U-turn. And if he leads with the Kyurem, then I have to switch out. But I don't necessarily think he's going to straight lead Kyurem with me having things like my Infernape sitting right there. So I am going to lead Diggersby at this point, which can one-shot a max HP, but not max defense. Not max defense Araquanid with a return. And I'm just going to say good luck, and we're going to get myself situated. So I've fixed all that on the screen, and I just need to put it on my notes. And we are going to get this battle going. Let's hit confirm. Good luck to my opponent. I said it on Discord just now, and we are going to get this going. Alright, so he does have a lot of ground weaknesses. Obviously, the Lander's Eye is something to watch out for with my Diggersby being banded, but if I can get rid of that, then I can just spam Earthquake for basically the rest of the game. Araquanid can take a 1 Earthquake. But I am going to click return if he does lead Araquanid here, and I kill it if he's not sashed or... So beatdown is the Kyurem. So that is something to watch out for. I didn't necessarily expect him to lead Kyurem straight up. Unless he's Specs or Life Orb, he doesn't kill me with an Ice Beam. But there's really no reason to risk that. This thing handles so much of his team, and he's not going to click Bolt Strike first turn, and I think he might be Scarfed. So I think my best play is going to be going out into my Vaporeon and clicking Toxic. And if he does go into the Klefki, then I can just go into my Drapion at that point, which handles pretty much any Klefki set. So I'm going to switch out into Vaporeon. Not a great lead matchup, but ultimately not the end of the world. If he does set up a sub, that's not great, but we'll manage if we have to. I would be very impressed if he decided to set up a sub in the face of a Diggersby. I'm not going to lie. This thing, it'd be interesting. If he is Life Orb, then I will at least know that. And he would kill with an Ice Beam if he's Life Orb. He actually will kill with just about any attack. That is, I don't know why my calc says he'd be adamant min special attack with an Ice Beam. But if he's not, yeah, if he's just max special attack and timid or something, then he'd still kill with an Ice Beam. So we are definitely not staying in since he does naturally outspeed my Diggersby. We are just going to go out into my Vaporeon, and he goes straight for a Draco Meteor and misses the first Draco Meteor of the season. So welcome to the season, everybody. Here we are. That's a Draco miss on his part, and I think that's just a free Toxic at this point, since Vaporeon from a Kyurem Black, going for a Draco. If he's max special attack, but not modest, he's doing about 50% with the Draco, and that would have given me some information about his set. But as it stands, we don't get any Bolt Strike or Fusion Bolt. It's doing about 60% to me. Toxic would be great, and then I can react to that appropriately. by switching in something else if I need to. I don't have the Protect this week. I do have Wish, but I have Heal Bell instead of Protect, so arguably Wish would have been a better play if he goes into Klefki, but anything else, whether he stays in and doesn't sub or goes into any other thing aside from Klefki, then Toxic is a good play on this thing. And I think that's how this team is going to be run. So he is going to switch out. I'm using that Draco sucks. Goes out into Bubbles. So he's going to try to get his webs up at this point, which is, a little unfortunate for me. But I do have the opportunity to go into Diggersby if I want to. And yeah, he does have free webs. So I am going to have to deal with that. I am going to have to deal with the webs being up. I can go into Diggersby here. He's not going to go for a water type attack. There's no way. He could go for a Toxic, but I just see this thing being Sticky Webs. So I could go into my Infernape and click Stealth Rock. I don't think that's the best play. If he Sticky Webs, he does give my Superior then outspeeds Scarf Cure him, which is good. In fact, my Superior puts in a ton of work this match once the Klefki goes down. So I really need to eliminate the Klefki as a threat. But since Drapion kind of walls Klefki, I think I'm okay there. So I think I'm just going to go out into my Diggersby again. And if he doubles out, then that is what it is. But I don't think he's going to double out. I think I am just going to be able to get my Diggersby in on the Sticky Web here. Yeah, there it is. And I didn't bring Defog, so we're going to have to deal with the Sticky Webs being up. But that's okay. He's leftovers. But after the... I don't know his spread at all. But after that Toxic damage, it's very unlikely he's going to have enough investment to survive a return. I could go for a U-turn here and go straight back into Vaporeon, which would be a play if I think he's going to go into like Klefki or Landorus. But neither of those wants to take a return anyway. So I'm going to click return. And if I can kill this thing outright, that'd be great. He doesn't know that I don't have Defog on my Superior, which is kind of what I'm banking on. And I really would love to get my rocks up at some point. Although that did get a little bit harder with the Sticky Webs being up. My Toxic Spike should still be easily set up on the Klefki and then force him to Defog, since his only hazard removal would be Defog on either Klefki or Landorus. I don't know why I'm so cold all of a sudden. Like, it literally got really cold really fast. So we're going to go for the return here. And I'm pretty sure I maximized the happiness on this thing. He's definitely defensively invested, which is unfortunate, because he does take me out with a crit, which may have mattered. So Araquanid kills Diggersby with Liquidation. And that's a huge problem. I did not want to lose that just now. So he's going to die to Poison on the following turn. I can go into Gardevoir and set up a substitute here. I could also go into Drapion, which outspeeds this thing anyway, and set up a layer of Toxic Spikes if I wanted to, but I don't think that's the best play. Now, the other option is going out into my Infernape and clicking Mach Punch. Or I could go into... You know what? Let's go with Superior, and let's click Leaf Storm. Since he's at 1 HP, I just need to land it. He already missed a Draco Meteor, so that's the 10% miss for the game. We don't have to worry about that anymore. The next 90% accurate move should hit. And it's a free Leaf Storm to get to +2. He can just go into Klefki, but I can just go into Drapion at that point. I lose nothing. And so we are going to get Superior. Kills Araquanid with Leaf Storm. I definitely should have U-turned there. Liquidation was really obvious. I should have just gone back into Vaporeon there. The Toxic would have started racking up. But it is what it is. You know, we'll play without the Diggersby. It would have been great to have, but at the same time, I didn't really necessarily need it. Superior now outspeeds everything on his team, even Scarfed. Technically speed ties with Timid Landorus because of the misgen. I talk about it in my team builder, but this thing is HP Rock, and I didn't make it level 100, so it doesn't have the 31 IV and speed. It has 30, and so it's technically 168 instead of 169, which means that it's speed ties Landorus if it's timid max speed instead of outspeeding it by 1 point. But I really don't see him being timid max speed. Klefki's his answer. Oh, he goes into his Cura. Oh, really? I outspeed you if you're Scarfed. And I'm at +2. And Dragon Pulse has a chance to kill if you're not bulky. But do I let myself die at this point to a potential Ice Beam? It's a roll if he's not like Life Orb or something. Superior is sort of a win con, right? I'm gonna do the crazy thing, and I'm gonna go for the Dragon Pulse here, and see what he goes for. Oh, he lives it, and he goes for the Ice Beam. What is your spread here? He straight takes me out. Are you Life Orb or something? Specs? Life Orb? I don't know. But I am going to go into my Infernape at this point. And I can click Mach Punch. He'll probably go Granbull. But it's not worth not clicking Mach Punch and having him click Earth Power or something. And if he does go Granbull, I still outspeed the Granbull. Even at -1, my Fiery Z Flare Blitz is going to do a decent chunk, and I can just U-turn off of it if I need to. So Mach Punch is the safe play here, and I'm just going to go for it. The other option is if he goes Granbull, just going for a Stealth Rock, so that his Kyurem can't switch back in. I mean, there's nothing to lose by that, so Kyurem... So he does have the bulk to take all the hits that I'm going for. Kills Superior with Ice Beam, and he's not Life Orb. He might be Specs. And since Granbull's not going to take me out, yeah, that's the Mach Punch. Okay, so he's going to let this thing go down. So that's a huge threat out of the way. So Infernape kills Kyurem Black with Mach Punch. Hoobi comes out. That has got to be... Oh, that's the Araquanid. Nope, that's not Araquanid. That's a Xurkitree. This thing could be Z, and he definitely outspeeds me. Without the Z, he doesn't kill from full. With the Z, he does. And I really don't think I want to let him get the Beast Boost, but I don't see a better option. And Flare Blitz, even Z Flare Blitz doesn't kill this thing from full. I mean, the Z move gets him a kill no matter what, especially now that my Diggersby's gone. If it's Electrium Z, then he's just gonna kill something with it. It's a matter of what I think is the least important member of my team at this point. And it's definitely not Infernape. Infernape is not the least important member of my team. Is it? It might be. I mean, I need... my Vaporeon. Gardevoir can still do some work. Drapion is okay. And Drapion survives if he's not... Okay, so I have to go for a Fiery Z here. And he goes for a Volt Switch. Which we will eat 1. That might be Specs damage. That Volt Switch did a lot of damage. Nope, that's just max Special Attack Modest. So he's probably Electrium Z, and expecting me to switch there. Goes out into Georgia, which is the Granbull, which is going to get the Intimidate off, which isn't the end of the world. I really am not 100% sure how I'm going to break the whatchamacallit, the Xurkitree. But we're going to try. We're certainly going to try. What do I do to break Xurk? I think I need a Calm Mind up on Gardevoir before it comes back in. I think I need to have a Calm Mind up on Gardevoir before it comes back in. I could rock here. Do I need my Infernate for anything? I mean, it's got the Mach Punch, so it can chip. So yeah, I'm going to U-turn. Which is going to do, like, nothing. He might play rough, and he might Thunder Wave. Gardevoir's a risky play. If he play roughs, that's just going to take a ton of damage. Well, not actually. Because he will be at -1. And then I can sub on his likely switch out. So yeah, I'm going to go into Gardevoir. It does get the traced Intimidate off. And yes, we do go to -1 speed, but that is okay. And so I'm curious if he gets a if he goes for Thunder Wave, then I'm in trouble. Earthquake, okay. It's not stab, so that'll do even less than the other thing would have. So I can Mega Evolve, and I can substitute here on a possible Thunder Wave, which would be perfect. That'd be best case scenario, would be Thunder Wave. Because then I have my sub up, and I can click Hyper Voice on the Xurkitree, get some damage off if he switches that in. Although I don't see him necessarily going hard Xurkitree. I think he's going to go Klefki here. But even then, sub, Wish, Calm Mind will be probably the best thing I can do against Klefki. And try to set up on it so that it can't do anything it wants to do. And yeah, letting my Diggersby and my Superior go down is not ideal. That was really poorly played on my part. In all honesty, I think those are my two biggest like sweepers and wall breakers, and were my answers to Xurkitree, and I just like let them die, which is a problem because Xurkitree is a huge threat. So he does stay in. Curious what he's going to go for here. I'm at -1, but I think I still outspeed you. Yeah, I do. So we're going to substitute. But go for Thunder Wave. Play rough. Miss. Okay, he lands it. So he does decide to stay in, which is not ideal. I guess I just go for a Hyper Voice at this point. Or do I sub one more time since my HP stat... He has no priority with the exception of whatever Klefki does priority-wise. So I can hope for a Play Rough miss. He'll probably just go for an Earthquake here. I could wish Play Rough kills from here, even at -1. So I can't really just wish. So I have to Hyper Voice. Unless I wanted him to miss a Play Rough. But I am going to take out the Grand Bull here. So Mega Gardevoir kills Grand Bull with Hyper Voice. And I think my week 1 blues of just throwing away games week 1 is continuing, as of course it always does. And I think the answer is go Zerk and win the game at this point. If he's special attack boosting, which he must be, why wouldn't he be with his beast boosts? If he goes Zerk here, I kind of have to let guard go down. And hope he's speed boosting and not special attack boosting for whatever reason. Because then my Drapion and Vaporeon can maybe take one hit. But otherwise... or he goes for like Z Hypnosis and misses or something like that. So... there's the Landorus. This thing... I can't really let this thing just freely get, like, set up in my face. You know, I prefer it not do that. And Rock Polish and Swords Dance and all those good things. I can substitute here, but I don't know how much that benefits me. I don't know why he'd go Rock Polish. He's just going to Swords Dance if he's going to do anything. So I'm just going to click Hyper Voice. And if he clicks Swords Dance, then there's the Sludge Wave. Okay, so we have information. And again, I lose week 1 all the time. I'm like not even that worried about it. So Landorus, I kills Mega Gardevoir with Sludge Wave. And I can go out into my Gardevoir, or not my Gardevoir, my Vaporeon at this point, and I can click Toxic, or Scald, or Wish. Wish may be my best option. I wish I had Protect right now, because then I could protect over, if he does go hard, Zerk. I could protect over the Z move. Scald is possibly my best option here. I don't see why he wouldn't go Zerk here. I can't really do anything to it, and he probably knows that. But Scald is my best option, so I'm going to click it. There's the U-turn. Just going to do just a little chip damage. And get a little bit of scouting on my set. Know that I'm pretty physically bulky, which means that I can't really take a Thunderbolt. I can take a Volt Switch, even from this range. But I'm assuming that he's Z. And this is only going to do about 50% to Zerk, yeah. So the real question becomes... so no burn. Does he just go straight for a Z move? I don't have Protect. He may not go straight for a Z move, strictly because I could have Protect. But he might just Z move, and if he Z moves and kills my Vaporeon, then I pretty much lose the game. Since I didn't set up my rocks, I didn't set up anything, so... Drapion is good, but not vital to winning the game at this point. So I'm going to go Drapion, and if he does Z-move and does kill Drapion, then gets the +1, then I'm going to lose anyway. So what's the harm in it? The other option would have been if he doesn't Z-move, just T-bolts at this point. Which, yeah, that could have happened. Then now he's going to Z-move probably, just in case I protect. I can't Sucker Punch, so there's another T-Bolt. And if he's special attack boosting, then that's game. There's just nothing about it. There's no two ways about it. What was I going to say? So, Beast Boost, special attack, yeah. So that's game. And it happens, you know. You play sometimes, and you just misplay. I don't even know if I misplayed so much. I made the right reads and the right calls by being like, yeah, he's not going to die to this. I should just go back into my Vaporeon. I shouldn't just sack off my Serperior. I made the calls, but I just, like, didn't follow through on them. You know, I, like, looked at the calcs, and I was like, nah, it'll be fine. And, like, it wasn't. But, like, that's fine. It's week 1 with Thunderbolt. And I honestly just can't be, you know, I'm no disrespect to Mike. He's a good battler. You should all watch his content. And I think his team is absolutely terrifying. So I'm not trying to say this to be like, oh, I'm better than Mike. I'm not. I don't believe that I'm better than Mike. What I'm saying is I'm currently focused on the ICBA. And I always play poorly with a new team week 1. So I'm not taking this to heart as far as I'm a bad player. Mike's a very good player. Gets a little mini sweep of Xurkitree at the end because I just kind of let things that were going to counter Xurkitree, like Serperior, just kind of die for really no benefit. You know, letting Diggersby and Serperior die without getting a single kill is just silly. I knew what he was doing. I could have just gone Vaporeon both times, and I just, like, didn't. You know, like, that's super dumb. So Xurkitree kills, what was that last one? Infernape with Thunderbolt. And now he's at +2, so Xurkitree will kill... I wrote will. Kills Vaporeon with Thunderbolt. And that's the game. So, great game to Mike. I honestly do believe that he's a very good battler, and I do believe that he's going to make a real big impact in this league. And I hope that you guys do enjoy these battles in the PCL. I am regular at losing week 1. It's just kind of how it goes. So, I like this team. I do. I really think this team has potential. And I definitely didn't play to it this time. I should have recognized, like, okay, what are my answers to Xurkitree? Serperior and Diggersby. What should I not let die? Superior and Diggersby. What do I do? Kill Superior and Diggersby. Great. Check. Stat. Do it. So anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. I know I had a little bit of fun with this, and I'm going to obviously come back week 2 ready to play, since my ICBA run will be done one way or another by that point, and I can really focus on the PCL at that point and this super fun team of really good Mons. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you all next time. Take care, everybody.